welcome to our second to last video on our Legend Lost Sector Guide series. My name is Darthwolf, and today we will be fighting alongside Braytech Automata in the second Legend Lost Sector on Europa. There's plenty of scrap metal to be had, so if you need some spare parts for your PC, feel free to look around for functioning processors. As usual, this video is intended for new light players and returning veterans that weren't lucky enough to get some good exotic drops, or simply took a long break and have not yet come around to farming them. I will give you a walkthrough while using blue weapons and being slightly on the light level. Our tour takes place in the E15 bunker, a Vexy Lost sector with a void burn modifier. We will be using the same subclasses in the previous sectors, namely Top Treat Night Stalker with Vortex Grenades, Marksman Dodge, and Strafe Jump. The weapon loadout is similar to the one for the Concealed Void, a 600 RPM Kinetic Auto Rifle, a 450 RPM Void Element Pulse Rifle, and a 150 RPM Void Heavy Grenade Launcher. This Lost sector only has Void shielded archetypes, so we'll be fine with the double Void loadout. For armor, I'm wearing my usual 1K50 blue helmet to counteract my artifact bonus, and 4 pieces of legendary gear with grenade launcher mods. The arms are equipped with Anti-Barrier Pulse Rifle and Overload Auto Rifle artifact mods, and I'm running Spoils of War on my class item. Let us now enter the bunker. You start out in a container, and your first order of business is to get rid of the snipers before they can sneak behind cover. Next, you clear out the remaining drags and move on to overload the champion. Use your container for cover as much as possible and move in with your grenade launcher once you've managed to overload him. You need to land 5 grenade shots to make him finishable, then recover your ammo using Spoils of War. As always, make sure your weapons are loaded. Move up the railings and free the Braytech bots before dispatching the 4 goblins in this room. The next room has 3 more goblins and a void shielded cyclops that will try to rush you. If you get his shield down early, you don't need to bother with him punching you once, just keep shooting. Next up is the bay area, where there are 3 Braytech bot cells that you should open to have more helpers. One is on the left near where the Cyclops spawns in, one is in the back next to the Hobgoblin, and one is hidden behind the rock in the entrance area near another Hobgoblin. After freeing the bots, get rid of the 2 Hobgoblins that have lanes on your position, or they will be pestering you with grenades. Next, proceed to doing some public duty by recycling old metal and get rid of the Cyclops that spawns in. Once the first wave of ads is down, the Cyclops, the Barrier Champion, and the Void Shielded Minotaur spawn in. One piece of advice: don't necessarily go as Daredevil as I do. Use the rock for cover and keep the lanes narrow. The easiest way to deal with the Cyclops is to bomb him when he appears and to finish him off with your auto rifle. Be careful not to get hit by stray shots. Terminate the Void Shielded Minotaur and finally take care of the Barrier Champion, which should be quite easy considering your army of helpers. If there are any remaining Vex, kill them first and then collapse on the champion. It is imperative that you do not rush in until you see the champion's finishable state. He sometimes bugs out and thus you would be suiciding on him instead. After this you get to the boss room. During this encounter there are 2 more overload champions that will spawn, one at the beginning and one later towards the end. There are quite a few goblins and a wyvern that you need to dispatch to spawn the boss in. Always stay near the tunnel during this encounter to be able to backtrack and get to safety whenever needed. While you're recovering in the tunnel, your radar and the enhanced tracker ability are your best friends. Make sure no blips are getting closer, and if they do, move back a couple steps to have room for maneuverability and more reaction time. Once you've spawned the boss, your first order of business is to get rid of all of the goblins to get them out of the way. Next, attack the boss with your heavy until he teleports towards the tunnel entrance. Dive for cover as soon as the boss turns his attention towards you and move back a couple steps because his shots have AoE capabilities. At this moment, an overload champion will spawn on the other side of the room. While he's making his way towards you, you can take some time and damage the boss enough to initiate another teleport towards a different part of the room. This gives you a bit more breathing space. Once the champion is closing in, backtrack and make sure you always have at least partial cover when engaging him. What your helpers are exceptionally good at is shooting the head off of the Vex. As a result, this kind of scrap metal sometimes comes around the corner. Don't hesitate to use the whole bay if needed and collect some heavy ammo when you're running low. While engaging the goblins, make sure to keep out of the boss's line of sight. This lost sector is pretty short, so you can take your time recovering. Damage the boss to make him teleport to the center and find the overload champion that spawned. At this point of the encounter, the goblins should be dead, so the explosions you hear that are not coming from the boss is the approaching overload champion. Lure him into your lair and finish him off. You're almost done, so don't mess up by standing in the open. There was one more. Once he's in the tunnel, it's business as usual. All that's left is to dismantle
mines. Yes. Or you die.
Dismantle the boss and go forth to claim your loot. That's it. This sector here is in my opinion the easiest lost sector, since you have many helpers that are practically doing your job for you. If you liked the video or found it helpful, please like and or subscribe or share your thoughts about it, as that is what motivates an artist to keep creating. Any suggestions or ideas for future videos will be greatly welcomed in the comment section down below. And as always, I'm issuing the invite to join us on our community server and hang out or run stuff with the primates. The link is in the description. Thanks for watching, and do not forget, ape hard, monkey fast, and fly safely.